You're listening to the Property Nomads Podcast, your one-stop shop for property, business and travel-related content, tying it all together to help guide you towards success. If you like the podcast, please share with others, subscribe and leave us a review. So get your gear together and let's get going.
Welcome to Quickcast 1. We have created a new style of podcast for yourselves. We had a lot of feedback recently, people saying that the interviews are really good, they love the length of them, that the sort of joint episodes that Matt and myself do, and the 20-minute episodes are really, really good. But you said as listeners that you would like some shorter, sharper episodes. I should never put shorter and sharper as words together again. I must be conscious of my lisp a little bit more. But you have said that you would like a few quicker episodes and something that, not controversial, but something that offers a different spin of things. So we've sat down and we've come up with Quickcast. So welcome to Quickcast 1. And this is why you are providing a service in property. Now, for those of you that are familiar with investing in the UK, and we would hope that's everyone that listens to this podcast, you'll be quite familiar with a lot of the crap we get fed in the news. Now, if you're outside the UK and you haven't invested yet into the UK, you may or may not be familiar with a lot of crap we get in the news. As landlords, I'll be careful when I say landlords because of how PC the world is becoming nowadays. Is it a landlord? Is it a landlady? Is it a land person? Just for complete argument's sake, I'm just going to say those that invest in property. I'll be as diplomatic as possible. That way I shouldn't ruffle any feathers or get anyone upset about anything. So those that invest in property. I think that covers all bases. That being said, those that invest in property, we are branded as capitalist scum. We're branded as those that are just hungry about money. We don't care about the tenants and we don't care about the type of properties that we're bringing into the market, and we're all evil people. We all deserve to be banished and stop making money, and we're very, very naughty. Bollocks. That's what I say to that. It's pure and utter bollocks. Number one, the mass media is always going to feed crap because that's what sells, and that's what people love to read. That's what people love to hear. So absolute bollocks. From a person that owns property, or people, or those that invest in property, we have to remember that we are providing a service. Now, tenants are fundamental when it comes to property. Effectively, the rent that the tenants pay, or the LHA rate, etc., they fund the property businesses. They fund our lifestyles that we might have. They are very, very important. So important. So we have to remember that we are providing a service in property. Now, local councils, let's just take empty properties. There are a lot of empty properties in the UK. I do not know what the percentage is. But if local councils haven't got the money to bring these properties back into use, then they're just sat there empty. And that's where investors like yourself, myself, ourselves, that's where we come in. If we can see the value in taking an empty property, bringing it back into use and being able to provide a safe and stable home for someone, that's important. And there's a lot of economic power in doing that. So just because the councils can't do it doesn't mean that we're not able to do it. That in itself is a service. Now, a lot of people think about bricks and mortar, houses, property, and they look at the money aspect. That's understandable. The money aspect is a nice aspect of property. It's almost like a side advantage of owning property. But let's focus more on the service side. The more that you're able to focus on providing a service for people in property, I believe the more you will gain from it. Bit of a contrarian point of view, purely because most people are focused on money. How many houses can I have? How big is my portfolio? How much can I blast about it on social media? Blah, 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 blah. Focus on providing a service. There's no harm in having a smaller portfolio, but a much better running portfolio. There's no harm in having a large portfolio either, if that's what you want, if that's what your dreams, desires and visions dictate. That being said, we're getting off topic. Focus on providing a service. If local councils or other people do not want to take empty properties and put them back into use, we can. We can provide that service for the local economy. The UK has a chronic housing crisis at the moment. We're not building anywhere near as much as we have demand. simple economics. If your supply is much lower than demand, two things. Number one, that pushes prices up. Number two, which I completely forgot, and number two, we're just in a very good position. If demand's much higher than supply, that means that supply's got to increase or demand has to decrease. Now, being the UK, it's unlikely that demand's going to significantly decrease. And I remember reading a study in 2018 that said that net immigration would have to be absolute zero, and the current level of building houses would have to be consistent for, I think it was 14 years, in order for demand to meet supply. Now, in all realisticness, that is not going to happen. For our generation, maybe for next future generations, we are going to experience a much higher demand than we are supply of housing in the UK. So therefore, it's even more of a shame when you see all these empty properties that are just sat there doing absolutely nothing because people or local councils, etc., do not have or claim not to have the money to be able to put them back into use. So therefore, if we are able to work with our local authorities, I'll be able to purchase these properties and bring them back into use, for those in the community, to be able to provide safe and secure housing for those people. And then ultimately, that is, in my opinion, the best service we can provide in property. Now, you won't always hear things like that in the news because bad news sells, and everyone wants to brandish those that invest in property as capitalist bastards and scum and all that crap. But if you want a prime example of someone that is working wonders with all of this, then listen to episode 68 with Rich Liddell, came out a couple of weeks ago. Go and check that out. Rich's story is phenomenal, but also what he's doing within his community, I think, is very poignant for this episode. So, as we always say, if you do everything under the magical ethical umbrella, there is no right or wrong in property. Do bear in mind, rather than focusing too much on the money, maybe focus more on providing a service in property. So that's Quickcast 1. Go check out episode 68 with Rich Liddell. Really poignant episode. And these Quickcasts moving forward, they're going to be very sporadic. It's not going to be one a week. It's going to be every now and then when something pops up, there'll be a Quickcast that pops in. They'll mainly be on Mondays. So join us next week as well. It's the start of December. Christmas is coming. Winter is coming. I miss Game of Thrones, but winter is coming. And we've got for you 5 ways to get a competitive advantage in property in December. So do not miss it out. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.